Well, it's better late than never. What is up, Finn fans? Had a crazy day today, so I do apologize that the video is coming out a little late. Normally I put it out around 5, but I was at the doctor's and then a whole bunch of stuff happened. It don't matter. Who cares? Let's just do the video. But I do apologize for the video being out late. And to the patrons and the members, your special video will be out later tonight. But let's jump into this. We're going to go into the injury report, the breakdown, PFF, 5 things, and then I'm going to tell you my prediction on the game, what we need, and get our heads out of our butts. So let's start with the injury report, and we're going to start with the Jets. And the Jets are dealing with a bunch of injuries as well. They're not going to have Jason Brownie, which probably really doesn't matter to them. Aaron Rodgers is going to be out. I don't even know why they're even attempting to bring him back. Their offensive lineman, Carter Warner, is doubtful. And then Nick Bowden, John Franklin Myers seems like they're going to go. It seems like Will McDonald might not go. He didn't practice Friday with a knee. Max Mitchell was limited. He's questionable. And Joe Tippmann, their center, I'm also hearing might not go for the Jets. Then we have the Miami Dolphins. Lots of questionables. Definitely out was Deshaun Elliott and Robert Hunt. Deshaun Elliott had a concussion. So if you watch the end of the game against the Titans, you notice that Campbell was in there. So, again, there's some sloppiness on the defense in that spot. Robert Hunt is dealing with a hamstring injury. He's out, and I'm hearing the hamstring injury is like a big old knot. Hopefully we get him back next week, but, yeah, he's not playing. Then the biggest question is Tyreek Hill. Is he practicing? Is he playing? Is he not playing? He didn't practice all week. That necessarily doesn't mean he won't play. If he wants to play and if the doctors are like he can play, there's no risk of this or that, he'll play. The Miami Dolphins need him to play. Regardless if they target him or not, they need him to play and need him to be out there. So if he is healthy enough to play and if he can play, you play him. Devon Achane dealing with the toe. He was limited. He's one that I'd love to see him play, and if he can, that'd be fantastic. But it's not a need, being that we have Raheem Mostert back there. Teron Armstead, I'm hearing, is likely to play. He was limited for the past 2 days, and he's questionable. Chris Brooks probably is going to be activated and be able to play. Liam Eichenberg was limited. He did have a boot on his foot for his calf injury. Hopefully he can go. Javon Holland, hopefully he can go. He's limited all week. So if he's healthy, Xavier Howard was limited. I expect him to go. Austin Jackson and AVG dealing with obliques. Hopefully they can go. But we are beat up. If Teron Armstead and Liam Eichenberg can go, I'll feel better. But the biggest thing is Tyreek Hill. Can he play or not? If he can play, play him. Plain and simple. But he didn't practice all week. Necessarily, he doesn't need to practice all week. Mike McDaniel came out and said that, again, if he can play, he'll play. If not, we're not going to push it. It's really up to him and the doctors. I will say this about Mike McDaniel, and normally I'm like, I like his mentality. Like with Connor Williams, he was very hesitant about him playing with the groin injury. He came back and played the Giants game and then got re-injured, and he missed the next few games. And, if he was held out, it would have probably been better. That's where I respect and understand Mike McDaniel's mentality when it comes to that stuff. But now we're at the point now where if they can play, and by playing it doesn't cause any more long-term injury, you have to play him. You can't be cautious. There's 4 games left in the season. You got to play everyone you can play. That's Xavier Howard, Javon Holland, Teron Armstead, Devon Achane with his toe injury. If they can play, and if the doctors are like, yeah, they physically can, play them. You have to, especially at this point when it comes to, we have to win this week, and we have a huge test, and then we're going to talk about that. But let's get to the breakdown. We're going to start with the Dolphins defense versus the Jets offense. And you can see here the Dolphins defense, 9th total defense, 12th in passing, 7th in rushing, 22nd in scoring, 3rd in sacks, ninth and third down defense, and 18th in takeaways. Facing a Jets offense that's, again, like the last time we played them, not good. They are 32nd in total offense. They're 29th in passing offense. They are 30th in rush offense. They are 29th in scoring. They are 30th in sacks. They are 32nd in third down offense. And they are 29th in giveaways. So big strength there is our defense versus their offense. And I know Zach Wilson had a big game last week, but I'll get to that in the 5 things. And then we have the Dolphins offense versus their defense. We have the number 1 offense still, number 1 in passing, number 2 in rushing, number 2 in scoring, number 3 in sacks allowed, number 10 in third downs, and 20th in giveaways. That needs to be a little bit better, and they have gotten better at that. Facing a good defense, and number 5 defense, 2nd in passing, not great in rushing, 28th in rushing, 8th in scoring, 14th in sacks. I thought that would be higher, but they do have a high pressure and blitz percentage. No, high pressure, low blitz percentage. 17th in third down and 13th in takeaways. So to me, it really is coming down to our offense versus their defense. And again, our offensive line is super banged up and really depends on Tyreek Hill. But again, we'll get to that. But before we get into the PFF, I do have to shout out today's sponsor, and that is BetUS. You hear me talk about them all the time. Fantastic betting site. Bet responsibly, and obviously you have to be 18 or older. But very good betting site. Very well known. Forbes has talked about them. They are very fast with their payouts, 24-hour payouts. They have prop bets. They have all this good stuff when it comes to NFL, when it comes to baseball, all sports. So without me talking much about them, let's hear what they have to say.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything, anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
So looking at the spread brought to you by BetUS, we're at 9.5 right now. We're giving 9.5 points. That could change depending on Tyreek playing or not. It might go further down to only giving like 7 points, give or take. But an over-under of 37, I take the over on that. But this is from what they should do. But again, BetUS, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. So now let's get into the PFF. And you're looking here, we're looking at our offense versus their defense. They got a good defense here. Quinnen Williams is really good. Now, Franklin Myers might not play. You got really good corners and Reed and Sauce Gardner. Their safeties aren't bad. Linebacking core is nice with Williams and Mosley, Sherwood. The only part of our offense facing their defense that scares me is the offensive line. Now, Austin Jackson should go back here. Now, Lamb has already said that he doesn't play guard. So to think like, oh, we should kick Lamb into one of these spots, probably not. I don't know if Liam Eichenberg's playing. If not, the guy that we got off of the waiver or off of free agency could go in there, which, again, makes me nervous. The only thing about this game that makes me nervous is the offensive line. Now, I'd love for Tyreek Hill to play, but even if he doesn't play, if our offensive line wasn't so banged up, I'd still feel good because you just run it down their throats. But with the interior of the offensive line being so injured, Quinnen Williams, again, like I said 2 weeks ago when we were facing them, worries the crap out of me. When you flip it, you look at our defense versus their offense, this is where we need to win. This is where we need to get the turnovers. You know, Bradley Chubb is starting to do really well. Ramsey, Cater, Xavier Howard. Hopefully Javon Holland can play. You got Brandon Jones. Duke Riley's playing really well. David Long Jr. is really helping with the run stopping. You look at their offensive line isn't great. Their wide receivers outside of Garrett Wilson aren't great. Zach Wilson isn't great. Breece Hall, that's where you need to concentrate. On Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, like I said 2 weeks ago. But for me, when I look at our team versus their team, when it comes to, head-to-head like this, our offense needs to put up some points. Absolutely needs to put up some points against their defense. Me personally, I think that the Dolphins will fix what they did last week, and if we can go up by at least 10 or 14, we'll win the game because I think our defense will be able to limit what their offense can do. But again, I'll go more into detail on that in the 5 things, which is happening right about now. So we're going to go into the 5 things that the Dolphins need to do if they want to beat this New York Jets team, which they better flip and beat this New York Jets team. So again, no specific order. It's not like the number 1 thing is the most important thing and the number 5 isn't, because there's like 12 things that I was thinking of, but I just threw the 5 on here that I was like, focus on these. And number 1, better coaching. Absolutely better coaching. Let me make this a little bit more aesthetically pleasing for the eye, but 100% better coaching. Play calling, discipline, adjustments, challenges, time management needs to be better, especially play calling when you're in the red zone. Stop throwing it so much. Like, just run the ball, man. It works. It was working against the Titans, and you abandoned it too many times. Run the ball. So, but that's not even on the offense. That's just not even on Mike McDaniel. On the defensive side, last week, 3 minutes left, give or take. Better coaching, better play calling, better, more pressure. Don't give him more time. Same thing with Zach Wilson. Pressure that man. Get in his face. Blitz him. All that stuff. So we need better coaching on both sides of the ball, even in special teams. Horrible punting, horrible discipline when it came to penalties, missed field goals, like all this stuff. We need a well-rounded, all good coaching game. The number 2 thing on the list, MVP Tua. Tua didn't play great last week. Now, is he? And I've been saying this, and people keep taking it and spinning it the way they want to. No point did I say it wasn't Tua's fault that we lost last week. What I was saying, and I even said at the end of the stream, is if you blame Tua for the loss, use your football brain. Meaning it wasn't just Tua's fault. It was Tua, it was the offensive line, it was the defense, it was the coaching, it was a team loss. It wasn't just Tua throwing 4 interceptions, giving them points, all that stuff. It was a team loss. So for us to beat the Jets and for us to do better, especially against the Cowboys and the Ravens and the Bills, we need MVP Tua to step up. Now, has Tua ever won an MVP? No. But there's been a ton of times this year, same like last year, where all of a sudden Tua was considered an MVP candidate. Well, Tua, if you want to be considered an MVP candidate, and if you want to be considered whatever for a long-term contract, this is where he needs to step up. This is where he needs to play those games. Because last year he fell apart against the 49ers, he fell apart against the Chargers, and that really hurt us. We can't have that happen again. We need MVP Tua. We need the best of Tua, and we need him to play smart, good football. There were so many opportunities last week, Monday, to win the game. He needs to take them. And that's what we need from him. We need that next step. We need that Tua that deserves all that stuff. This Tua Tagovailoa is 5th in the NFL and on target percentage with 80.3%. What that means is 80.3% of the time, that man's passes are on target. He is 29th in the NFL in bad target percentage with 12.6%. He is incredibly accurate. That's what we need from him. We need the best of him for the next 4, 5, 6 games, hopefully again into the playoffs. So, number 2, MVP Tua. Number 3, why is this a thing I have to say? Why? Mike, you're known for your rushing with the 49ers. Run at the goal line. Specifically, run at the goal line. And if you don't feel confident about it into your offensive lineman versus Quinnen Williams, all of them, run it to the outsides. But run the ball. The Jets are 28th in rush defense. Take advantage of that. Supposedly it might be raining. Just run the ball. Have your defense scoop up mistakes. Have your defense force turnovers and run the ball. Get out of this game. Because if Hill can't play because of injuries, just win and get out of there. I don't care if they win by 2, 1. I don't care. Just win and get out of there. So run the ball. Number 3 thing. A 4th thing on my list. We need that old Zach Wilson. Now, Zach Wilson had a fantastic game against the Houston Texans. They won 30-6. Very good game for him. I'm not going to knock him. I'm not going to, come on here and be like, "Woo, Zach Wilson." Don't get that, Zach Wilson. Pressure him, get in his face, sack him, make him make mistakes, disguise your coverage. Jalen Ramsey get some picks, scoop and scores. AVG get a pick, Sealer get a pick. The Jets are number one in pressure percentage, giving up 29%. They're number 3 in sacks, 55 sacks given up. But they are 23rd in the NFL in being blitzed. So they only blitzed 122 times, which is 23rd in the NFL, but they are first and second in pressure and sacks. Get after him. Make him uncomfortable, make him throw stupid passes, and make him not look like the Zach Wilson that looked like against the Houston Texans. Can he chain back-to-back winning great games? Hopefully not. But get the old Zach Wilson. And the fifth and final thing on my list, the best of the O-line. Now, it's going to be hard. We're dealing with a ton of injuries on the O-line. It's bad. It's bad. Even our Austin Jackson, who has been the staple of this offensive line and has been healthy for all of the season, it was our only fresh and healthy offensive lineman. And he's dealing with an injury. So hopefully he can play. The Jets are 15th in sacks, getting 36 sacks. They are number 2 in pressure percentage, 28.1%. They're 31st in the NFL blitzing, 16.4%. So they don't blitz. They're second to last in blitzing, but they're second in pressure and 15th in sacks. So they'll get after you, and they don't need to blitz. Need to take advantage and get the best out of our offensive line. Give Tua time. Stop throwing it to the first read. Well, if he has no time to get to the second read, what do you want from him? Best of the offensive line. And if our offensive line's great, top thing is run blocking, which some people don't understand. Like last week when I was like, the offensive line is struggling, but we're rushing for blah, blah, blah. Whole different world when you're run blocking versus pass blocking. Run blocking is a lot of force and pushing forward. Pass blocking is a lot of finesse and on your feet. Two different worlds when it comes to blocking. So our run blocking out of our offensive line is actually pretty good. Just, Mike, run the ball. Again, number 1, better coaching. Just run the ball. That being said, here is my prediction for the game. Now, the last time the Miami Dolphins faced the Jets in New Jersey, the Miami Dolphins had 22 first downs. The Jets had 12. The Miami Dolphins had 167 rushing yards. The Jets had 29. The Miami Dolphins had 243 passing yards. The Jets had 179. The Miami Dolphins had 7 sacks. The Jets had 2. And the Miami Dolphins were 11 for 16 on third down conversions. And the Jets were 5 for 14. We beat them, even throwing a pick 6 last time we faced them. We had that crazy Hail Mary pick 6. But the Miami Dolphins have to win this game. The team and the players need to realize that this is a game that they cannot lose. You lose, you're the laughing stocks of the NFL. Not because of the Jets, but because you are 9-3. You are the number 1 seed. And if you lose this game, there's a possibility you go to the number 4 seed. And if you lose this game, there's a possibility that you lose the division. Because look at the next 2 games besides the Cowboys games that the Bills have to face, and the Chargers and the Patriots. You need to win this game, and you need to play pissed. Offensive line needs to play pissed. The defensive line needs to play pissed. If Tyreek Hill's not out there, wide receivers, Tua, all of them need to play pissed that you were embarrassed on national TV. I have the Dolphins winning, and this is what they should win by. Now, I think they'll win, and I hope they win, because if not, I'm going to be real mad because they're doing what they did last year. 28-14. That's what they should win by. Now, if Tyreek Hill doesn't play, I'll probably drop that down to 2014, but the Miami Dolphins should win this game. The defense is better than their offense, and if Tyreek's playing, we're matched pretty evenly with their defense. Again, I showed you what we did 2 weeks ago when we had Tyreek, and they still had a full healthy defense. So, Miami Dolphins, win this game, and then let's focus on the Cowboys, because that is a season-defining game. But you lose this game, world of hurt. An absolute world of hurt. But I will see you guys on Sunday, 1 o'clock, Miami Dolphins hosting the New York Jets. Let's get this W. Let's get ready for Christmas Eve. And let's win the division, man. It's right there for us to take it. Let's not fumble it. Control our own destiny for the second year in a row. Let's do something with it. But on that, I'll see you guys on Sunday. Unless news breaks, I'll give you it tomorrow. Like if Tyreek said he's playing or whatever, I'll make a video tomorrow. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. Friends out.